right? The thing is that Jose Padermo had not been named by the media with regards to the Lennon assassination until 1987. So we're talking 7 years, right? For 7 years, his name was not mentioned. He was always mentioned. He was always, whenever the doorman was mentioned with regards to the shooting in the mainstream media, it was always as the doorman or the security guard. It was only in an article in 1987 by James Gaines, and it was a Chapman backed article. It was for People magazine, and you can find this online, actually. I don't remember the title of the article, but you can find it online. And this is the first time that it was actually named Jose Padermo, quote unquote, the doorman at the Dakota that night. And it also mentions, because what Chapman was doing before he shot Lennon, he was hanging around outside the Dakota because there were a lot of fans always standing outside the Dakota waiting for John Lennon. This was like one of those regular things that was
Matt,
going.
I wanted to ask you, just as a loose end, there's this famous photo of Lennon signing Chapman's copy of Catcher in the Rye. It's all over the internet. Who is supposed to have taken that photo?
A man by the name of Paul Goresh.
That's it.
And he just passed away a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But
he was another fan that was just hanging out there, is he?
Yeah.
He was another fan. He actually got fairly close to John and Yoko over the years, but only after this double fantasy came back out. Before that, he was kind of, I think John had yelled at him a couple times because he kept trying to take his picture, like would wait for him to come out and take their picture and all those kinds of things. And I think he like swindled his way into the Dakota one time, saying he was a TV repairman or something like that, and ended up, they found out that he wasn't a TV repairman and was kicked out and all this stuff. But yeah, that's who was supposedly took the picture of Mark David Chapman and John Lennon that night.
You do wonder if he was, because he was taking lots of, because as you say, he was hanging around outside the Dakota a lot. He was one of those fans that was always standing outside. It's isn't it? Don't you think it's a bit strange that he never took more photos of Mark Chapman or indeed Jose Padermo?
Right.
Because he's taking pictures. Apparently, what Goresh was doing, he was taking pictures of John Lennon as he was coming in and out of the Dakota to go to various engagements, getting into a limo or going to the store to buy something. And he would take pictures of Lennon on the street. I think it's on the cover of the 7-inch single, "Watching the Wheels."
That's his picture.
That's his picture. John and Yoko walking out the Dakota. So how come that we don't see any of all the photos that he took of John, and he took many, many, many candid photographs? How come we don't see any of him, of Mark Chapman, hanging around outside, apart from this one where John signs the double fantasy album that Mark David Chapman has bought? How come we don't see any pictures of any of the other staff? For example, Jose Padermo. The thing is with Jose Padermo is, so, we don't, this is why I'm a bit suspicious, right? We don't hear his name until 1987 in this article. And in this article, it explained, the way his name is explained, it's explained that Mark David Chapman, on one of the many occasions that he was turning up outside the Dakota, waiting for John to come out so he could shoot him, he got into, this is how the article explains it, he got into a conversation with the doorman, whose name is Jose Padermo. And Jose talks about the Bay of Pigs and the JFK assassination. Now, it doesn't say that he's
That's
involved.
convenient.
That's convenient. Do you know what I mean? And it doesn't say that he was involved in it. It just says they just stood there and just began to talk about this stuff, just off the cuff. It's just got me a little bit suspicious. And then you realize, if how many Jose Padermos are there out there? Maybe the guy, I'm suspicious, but I will concede that maybe the Jose Padermo that they say is, maybe it is Jose Padermo, right? We're talking about the security guard outside the Dakota. Okay, but how many Jose Padermos are there in the world? Is this Jose Padermo regular guy, or is this Jose Padermo CIA agent?
Jose Padermo was definitely working there that night. A man named Jose Padermo, because he is mentioned. The police officers mentioned that their statements that they give. They mentioned specifically Jose Padermo, the doorman. So we know a man named Jose Palermo was working as the doorman that evening. But whether that man is linked to the Jose Palermo of the CIA and the Bay of Pigs and all of that, that's kind of where the question is raised, right?
Well,
yes.
guys, we've just hit the 2-hour mark now, so we should probably wrap it up there, I guess. I don't think we're going to find the answer to that question anyway. We're just going to puzzle over it and be none the wiser. But we've had a great conversation. I think this time next year, we're going to be finding ourselves marking the 20th anniversary of George Harrison's passing and going back over all of that, which we have covered on previous shows. But, I think we've done pretty well here in revisiting the Lennon event 40 years later. Hopefully we've done it justice. Do you just want to wrap up by reminding people about your blogs, and are there any new articles forthcoming that people should look out for?
Oh, I'll go ahead and take that one first. I have the number 9 blog, and not too much new coming out. Honestly, I'm putting together a full kind of John Lennon tribute that I plan to hopefully post this podcast on as well. Not too much new. I love John Lennon. I know that there's a lot of, strange things about and all that, but I do have great respect for him, and I do that. All of this, for me at least, comes out of a place of respect. I really feel that if something is not quite right by what we've been led to believe about his murder or lack of murder, depending on what version of events you go with, I do feel that it's out of respect that we should really have an investigation and figure out what really happened that day, and I feel horrible. I can't believe that he's been now officially been dead as long as he was alive. He was 40 years old when he was killed. This is his 40th anniversary. So that's a very long span of time that, nobody really seems to question much about. There's kind of accept, and it's a very tragic and sad story. But I do hope that someday some of these questions, these nagging, lingering questions, will be answered once and for all. And maybe we have to wait a little longer until certain people have passed or something. But I do hope that one day it all comes out. So
sure,
I appreciate all of your work and dedication on this, you guys. I think it was a great show. So thank you. Lovely.
Thank you. Yeah, great.
So Matt, what you got going on?
Oh, loads. Wow. Loads of articles to come, both on my site, Conspiro Media, and also on the Occult Beatles. Just so many different things. I won't go into them now. Check those sites out. You've got Conspiro Media, which in recent years, it started in 2011, 2012, sometime around then. But in more recent years, in the last 2-3 years or so, it's been taking a look at the 1960s countercultural scene of London and of Britain. So it's kind of like partly inspired by Dave McGowan's work with Laurel Canyon and what he discovered with regards to the US and Laurel Canyon. I thought I'd take a look. I'm taking a look at the London scene and London, which is sort of mostly where the countercultural scene was being sort of engineered, a good word, that, engineered, and where it was happening. So go take a look at that site. There's not a lot of regular articles on that site at the moment because I've been doing years and years of research, background research into that. But but do check it out. That's what that site is now dedicated towards. It never used to be. It used to be more of a topical thing about music, the music scene of the current music scene, if you like. But I've turned my attention towards the 60s. So that's what Conspiro Media is all about. And then you've got my site, The Occult Beatles. And then there's Conspiro Media at Facebook. And if you go there, you get a mixture of the two sites and more stuff that you don't get on either site. So yeah, check those out. Yeah. And thanks, guys.
Yeah, lovely.
All right, great. And we'll see everyone for Magical Mystery Talk episode 5 at some point in 2021. Cheers for now.
Listen up. 2020 was a shake-up, but on TikTok, you stepped up and gave it a swipe up. You cheered up, geared up, teared up. You opened your mind up. And when it was easier to give up, you always kept your chin up. 2021, it starts with you. It starts on TikTok.
At ID Mobile, we don't waste our money on celebrity voiceovers. Why not? I'm a great, great guy. Noom, ero, uno. It's proven by science. Instead, we put our money into giving customers great service, better prices, and fantastic Christmas offers. Like a gift card worth up to £100 on selected handset and SIM-only plans. That's a great deal. Really great deal. That's why ID Mobile is a Which recommended mobile provider. Switch and save today at idmobile.co.uk.